It's 4:40 p.m. here in Seoul. I'm Devin Whiting at the Arirang News Center, and it's time for today's briefing from the South Korean health authorities. We should be getting an announcement about what the new social distancing scheme will look like in Seoul and around the country. It looks like they're starting now. Let's listen in.
수어 통역이 제공됩니다.
And we will be providing
먼저
sign language
손영래
translation. First, we will
사회정답관장이
hear from
코로나19
Director
대응
General
방안을
Son Young-rae
설명하겠습니다.
about the latest findings on COVID-19. I will now start for the regular briefing for June 27th. In the CDC today, we talked about the new social distancing measure that will be implemented starting on July 1st, and we talked about how it will be applied on the local governments. Each local government explained about the newly confirmed cases that happened over the past week, and also has reported on the social distancing measures that will be applied. For the social distancing measure, for the metropolitan area, it will be level 2 and it will be level 1 for non-metropolitan area. And we have considered the current situation where there is a temporary increase in the number of newly confirmed cases for the Daejeon area. That is why we are applying level 1 for now. And for most of the local governments, they had some concerns about the relief that the citizens may feel with the easing of the social distancing measures. So we're going to be implementing it for a trial period of 2 weeks. Starting from July 1st to July 13th, people can have private gatherings of up to 6 people for the metropolitan area, and especially for Seoul, we have seen that there is a great increase in size when there is a trouble, so we're going to provide separate guidelines. For the non-metropolitan area, for all areas except for the Chungnam area, we're going to have the trial period for 2 weeks, and we're going to be implementing this in a stepwise manner. Except for Daegu, for Ulsan, Sejong, and other areas, we are going to allow up to 8 people private gathering for 2 weeks, and then we're going to see what the measures will be taken afterwards. And for Daegu, we're going to have a separate announcement. And for the provinces, for the Jeonnam, Jeonbuk, Gyeongnam, Gyeongbuk, and Chungbuk, and for the Gangwon provinces, we're going to allow 8 people private gathering, and for the Jeju Island, we're going to allow 6 people private gathering for 2 weeks. However, for this trial social distancing measures, some were already being implemented in areas such as some areas in Gangwon and Jeonnam and Jeonbuk and other provinces. Therefore, the new measure will not be implemented. For a lot of these, it will have a separate measure be taken. And each local government will also strengthen this disease control measures as necessary. For instance, we're going to have preemptive testing for those who are working in the entertainment facilities, and we're going to have small private gatherings for the religious facilities. For details, please refer to the press release documents. However, depending on how the developments are advancing afterwards, the local governments can make necessary adjustments. So this is to make sure that we have a good balance between disease control and our recovery of our daily lives. However, COVID-19 is still ongoing and we cannot be relieved. Therefore, we want to ask our citizens to practice personal hygiene at all times in your daily lives, and please make sure to be vigilant at all times. For private gatherings, with the easing of the measure, there could be a great increase in the number of private gatherings, so we have to be cautious about it. Therefore, we want to ask you to refrain from having massive gatherings with people who are not family members. Especially, we want to ask you to refrain from having company dinners that could last for a long time. So it is better for you not to have it in July, because this is when there will be further vaccinations. We hope that this will allow our citizens to recover some of their daily lives and activities, and we want to ask for your participation.
다음으로 지난
Next,
한 주간의 유행
I
상황에 대해
will update
말씀드리겠습니다.
on the latest developments for the past week. Over the past week, on a daily average,
492명입니다.
there were 492
직전
newly
한
confirmed
주간의
cases.
445명에 비해서는
Compared to 445 from the previous week, there was an increase by 42 people, which was at 10.6%. We saw a continuous decrease in the number of newly confirmed cases. However, we saw a sudden increase last week. And for the reproduction rate, there was a slight increase there as well. For the number of the critically ill, we are seeing a continuous decrease. And we still have room for hospital beds in the ICU units. We are seeing that these numbers are decreasing thanks to vaccination. However, we have not completed sufficient amount of vaccination for us to feel safe. However, we feel that people are becoming less concerned about COVID-19, and this could be a risk. And there were cases where people did not get tested even when they had symptoms, and this has led to a cluster outbreak. In the Gyeonggi-do Seongnam area, there was a patient who did not get tested when this person had symptoms for 5 days, and this led to newly confirmed cases amounting to 100 more people. And in the Daejeon city as well, there were also case of cluster outbreak where due to a person not being tested, there were 70 people being affected. So we want to ask you to be tested at all times if you feel any unusual symptoms. We are facing heat waves, and we do understand that people may have difficulties wearing face masks right now with the heat. And we are going to apply the new social distancing measure, and we're also going to provide some incentives. However, we want to ensure that the people are still wearing face masks indoors at all times. So when you're indoors, please make sure to wear indoors unless you are eating something or drinking something. Even if you were vaccinated, we have to make sure that you are wearing face masks indoors, and this will be a principle that will not change. And even when you're outside, when you are at an area where there are a lot of people that are being crowded, please make sure to wear face masks, especially when you are areas such as mass gatherings or restaurants or shopping malls. Please make sure to wear face masks at all times. Wearing face masks is not only for yourself, but it is also a way to protect those around you and our society, and it is the most important way to control disease. So we have to make sure that face masks will have to be worn even when we complete vaccination. So regardless of vaccination, please make sure to wear face masks at all times when you're indoors, and even at outdoors when there are a lot of people. We want to ask for your participation. The government will also work with you so that you can recover your daily lives as soon as possible. Thank you.
네, 지금부터 질의응답 시간을 가지겠습니다. 브리핑은 사회적 거리 두기 수칙.
And that'll conclude our coverage of this briefing. Thank you for being with us. Arirang News will be back at 6 p.m. Korea time.